along to my game of the week, FAMU versus Jackson State. Jackson State actually beat FAMU. It was an amazing game. I want to talk about the football element of it, but we have to start with this because we have some pretty upsetting news to report for HBCU alumni that really want to see the growth of HBCU football. So we got the numbers back for the broadcast for the FAMU Jackson State game on ESPNU. It got 26,000 views per TV media blog. The number was the second worst. That viewership number for all the TV games was the second worst of the weekend, only slightly ahead by 3,000 on the ESPNU broadcasted Friday evening game, which is Brown and Princeton from the Ivy League, another FCS league where Brown and Princeton were playing. That drew 23,000 views. And you had North Dakota State, South Dakota State. That was a top 2 matchup in the FCS, a really good game. I got an opportunity to watch that as well because Georgia was beating up on Texas. I got an opportunity to watch that game. Really good game. That got 174,000 viewers on ESPN2. Now we look at that number by comparison. Jackson State and FAMU, Ariel, 94% viewership drop from the Orange Blossom Classic in 2023. That was on ESPN. So, and that was in week 1. That game got 438,000 viewers on ESPN. So it's very disheartening. And it's hard for me because, you know, we could talk about football, but when it comes to HBCU football, really college football, there's a business element of what we talk about as fans. And I think that happens all across sports. But I think with HBCU football, we care about what happens on that field, but we also care about the visibility and the viewership for our programs. And I think that real quick before I get to the football, I want to sort of give some causation as to why these numbers were what they were. So ESPNU has a lower distribution than ESPN and ESPN2. ESPNU is in 36 million homes. That's down from like 70 million 10 years ago. So it's in 36 million homes. So that's one of the reasons why that number was so low. Because I was talking to some folks on Twitter when we announced that the game was going to be on ESPNU. It seems like a big deal because, you know, ESPN Plus, that's a paywall. If you're like a new thing, you might not be able to watch it unless you have ESPN Plus. But if you just want to see the game, you heard about FAMU and Jackson State, you know about when Deion was there, you know about when Willie Simmons were there. You just want to watch the game. If you're on ESPN Plus or you don't have ESPN Plus, you can't watch it. And then you might have other plans. It's homecoming. You got other things going on. But ESPNU is on TV. You can DVR it. It's not free. You're paying for the service, but it's not out of your routine if you don't have ESPN Plus. You know what I mean? So we all thought that, hey, this is a great move. And we've seen that some of those ratings numbers looked really good on ESPNU, even for Division II football games that, of course, have a smaller audience. But it didn't do that for FAMU. But you also got to look at this as well. It was other big games. You had Alabama and Tennessee, which Tennessee beat Alabama. That got 10.7 million viewers on ABC. You had Michigan and Illinois. That was on CBS, 3 million viewers. Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, 1.5 million. So it is really unfortunate that this game that, Ario, we were both hyped over, this is a huge game when it comes to the SWAC race. It's a FCS top 25 matchup. Coming into this game, so these are 2 of the top 25 entering this game FCS teams. And we know FAMU can't make the playoffs because they had to reschedule that game because of the hurricane, and they had to reschedule Alabama A&M, and that game's going to be on the 29th before the SWAC championship. But Jackson State can still make it if they lost. Who knows what could happen in that instance, right? But people didn't watch it, and I don't think it's an indictment on the football. I think it was a great game. I think it's ESPN. And I'll say this, and I'll move on to the football. I think that ESPN has to stop doing HBCU football like this, because if we want to be honest, this game would have probably been better and had done better on ESPN Plus. Because at the very least, there's some folks that do not have ESPNU. If it was solely on ESPN Plus, there are more people that can go get ESPN Plus to watch the game. And I will definitely stand by that.